where dream fights come to life.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Brown Sugar, used to be known King Mo, and we have
Party Marty, aka the couch professor, the couch expert, or armchair expert, and light brown sugar too. That's my new nickname.
so we're going to discuss the Nakatani Hernandez fight as well as the Inoue Picasso fight.
Mm-hmm.
So where would you want to start first, man? Where do you want to start first?
Let's go with Nakatani. You tell me. Like I said, I wasn't able to catch the first 7 or 8 rounds because it came on so early in the morning for me. But when you did text me, I woke up and then I caught it, and I was having some issues finding it anyways. So what I did see and watch, that he was having some issues with the pressure, and that was one of my questions yesterday coming into the fight. Can he handle someone that's in his face, and how can he box off his back foot? That's the question. So I wasn't too impressed with those issues. Now my question is to you, as the man that watched the fight fully, and also as the pro. If you're in his corner during the rounds, what would you tell him to do better?
Listen, the first 5 rounds, he looked stellar.
Yeah.
He had good angles, good movement, good timing. His jab was on point. But this guy Hernandez we just kept coming forward. He was like a mixture of Margarito and Isaac Cruz. He just kept coming forward. He was eating shots, taking them, and coming forward and just throwing body shots. And I seen Nakatani look sharp, but come the 5th round, I could see him start to unravel. And he won the 5th round. Come the 6th round, he looked bad. I mean, the body shots that he was taking started to wear on him, and he stopped moving. He was still trying to move, but he stopped moving nearly as much. And then come the 8th, 9th, and 10th round, he stopped moving altogether. He was getting backed up and beat up. You can see his eye was swollen. The first 5 rounds, he looked great. I thought he was gonna stop this guy, but I just noticed that everything that he hit Hernandez with, Hernandez just walked through it. Hernandez has a stellar chin. I think Hernandez gives anybody problems, even Inoue. Even Inoue. I think he gives anybody problems. This was his first fight outside of Mexico. This guy is tough. I mean, Nakatani was hitting him with everything, even the Andrew Maloney left hand. He landed that a few times, and this guy just ran through it like the juggernaut. It didn't slow him down. One thing I would have told him is to maybe clinch and back him up. Because if you can clinch and back him up, then you have more real estate behind you. But I think that the pressure Hernandez put forth was something else. It was something that I've never seen someone eat so many clean shots and come forward. Remember Mayorga, he get hit?
Yeah.
Picture Mayorga getting hit, not even blinking, and not even backing up.
Yeah. That's how it was.
It was something different, man. Like Nakatani, in my opinion, Rudy, Coach Hernandez, you're a great coach. I think that they had the right game plan. I think they had the right sparring, but I think the sparring wasn't like the guy they fought. Because Nakatani trains with Mexicans, and this Mexican was a super Mexican. I mean, he could get hit in the body, hit with uppercuts. Nakatani's uppercut will slow you down. It didn't do shit to Hernandez. It did nothing to Hernandez. I don't think Hernandez took a step backwards. That's why I was like, bro. That's why I was sending text messages saying, "Oh no, oh no," and I really think that Hernandez might low key won this fight.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the draw because I like Nakatani and I like Rudy Hernandez. But with that being said, I saw Nakatani lose.
Yeah.
Thought he lost the fight. Hernandez, his name, he's a person that will be avoided from here on out. We should have done more research on this guy because what we just said, I said Nakatani's fighting some guy. Don't know who he is. Probably gonna run through him, and that did not happen at all.
Yeah, that's a problem if you don't have a lot of tape or the ability to watch whatever he's on, probably local Mexico channels. If you don't get that, you're really not going to know who he is unless it's word of mouth, or you are able to see his fights live or whatever. So it's kind of hard nowadays with the restrictions on YouTube and all that. You can't get the fights all the time like you used to. Everybody's copyright infringement. They're all trying to sue you and all that. So I
Well,
mean, yeah,
just think about this: Hernandez's competition.
yeah,
It would be easy to write off his competition
right,
because all of his fights were held in Mexico.
yes,
This was his first fight outside of Mexico. So it'd
yeah.
be easy for us to see him and be like, oh, that's cool, but he's not fighting Nakatani.
And that's the thing I had mentioned to you too previously on one of our shows. I always heard this from in sports in general. When it comes to whatever sport, it's hard to replicate what you're going to face in sparring and what you're really going to face in the ring. Floyd always said that too. It's different. You might have the blueprint. You may say this and that until you get in the ring with me. Then you're in a shock. Once my punches start coming at you and my jab and all that. So it's a world of difference when you're sparring with somebody and then you're getting in there with the actual person or actually trying to get in the game. Like you could try to emulate Peyton Manning or Joe Montana or Tom Brady until you actually face them. And it's a different story. That's
Well,
probably what,
he had good sparring. He fought a guy. He sparred with a guy that fought Inoue earlier. He had good sparring. I know Rudy doesn't play with sparring. Rudy will put him in there, challenge him. But this guy, if you have a chance to go watch the first 5 rounds,
I couldn't find it. I have to do a deeper
man.
search when I have more time.
I mean, Nakatani was moving beautifully, cutting the corner, hitting him with shots, cutting the corner, sliding, countering him, running him into shots, left and right. Right uppercut, left hand, right hook, jabs, pot shotting him. Had his way with him the first 4 or 5 rounds.
Yeah, I saw highlights, but I didn't see like the actual. Wouldn't give me, obviously all 3 minutes of every round, so that doesn't tell you everything. And I couldn't find it either. I don't like the CompuBox stats in boxing because it doesn't tell me how many body shots were landed or thrown. Were you able to see that by chance?
I know this. Nakatani was outlanded. Only thing Nakatani landed more was jabs.
That's my that was
Like
my question too.
29. But he got
That,
outlanded altogether.
that was my question to you. Was he going to the body enough early in the rounds to
Uh,
slow Hernandez down?
she was trying to hit him with everything, but just Hernandez, like, the thing about Hernandez is he would just keep coming forward. So even if he would land body shots, he would have to slide back just a little bit to land them clean.
Yeah,
Hernandez came and even when they were chest to chest, he would throw uppercut, 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 uppercut to the bodies. To
yeah,
the body. Left uppercut, right uppercut, just going back and forth. And then eventually, as the fight wore on, he started going to the head with the uppercut. That's why Nakatani's eye was swollen.
right. Maybe if he would have, again, this is coming from someone who only watched the last few rounds and the way he was acting. Maybe if he invested to the body early and stayed with it, maybe would have slowed Hernandez down. Maybe, I don't
Bro,
know.
listen, Hernandez came forward
Yeah,
and he just came forward throwing punches. So even if Nakatani clinched him, he was still throwing punches like nonstop.
yeah,
Not man, I saw him throw 10 uppercuts like bap 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 bap, and Nakatani was trying to clinch him and trying to turn him, and he wouldn't stop throwing punches. Picture Zapata mixed with Mateus, mixed with Isaac Cruz with
yeah,
the twist of Margarito. This guy
right.
was a Terminator. I mean, like, bro, like, did you see his face after the fight? Like, did you
Yeah,
see? Okay, I didn't see him take one step backwards that whole fight. Not one step backwards. And not one step laterally either. He just came forward.
yeah,
Literally, he just came forward. Nakatani sometimes during the fight, and there were some moments where he was damn near low key running.
yeah, it
And
was.
and Hernandez walked him down like Michael Myers.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
just I mean like
So you're in his corner. You would just say, "Let's clinch more as much as you can. Clinch, turn him,
and
punch, keep clinching."
don't turn him clinch. tournament if you're the short side of the ring,
Yeah.
if you're against the ropes, but clinch and back his ass up so you can
Yeah.
have more real estate behind you.
Right.
Because, I mean,
So why wasn't he? So when I saw it, he should have been walking him in, like you said, push him against the ropes, so you can back up. You have more real estate. He should have been countering his aggression coming forward, right? He
bro,
should
he
have been
tried
throwing.
to. Listen, I watched him run into the Andrew Maloney left hand
Yeah,
like 8 or 9 times, if
and he
not
kept coming
more.
forward.
And he just, bro, he didn't take one, he didn't buckle, he
Yeah,
didn't do anything. He just kept coming forward. Like, his chin is on steroids. Like, his chin is like a Oliver McCall, like, Chavallo type chin.
yeah,
I mean, like, Nakatani was hitting him with some nice shots.
yeah,
And Hernandez never wavered one bit. It's crazy. I, I would like to see Hernandez versus Inoue. Now, I
yeah,
think Inoue's athleticism could get him there, but I just want to see if Hernandez could take Inoue's best shots.
yeah. I would like to see that too.
Nakatani's was a little smaller, but I don't know what he walks around at, but I know this: Hernandez, his name should be on the radar. He's the new boogeyman.
Yeah, I mean, rightfully so. Until you get a guy that has a great game plan, absolutely. Maybe they're saying Nakatani might have been rushing up to 122 too fast too. That could have been an issue. I don't know. Maybe put a
Hey,
little bit more size.
it could have been, but you know what? He signed the contract.
Yeah,
He took the fight, so Rudy knows. Rudy's a great coach,
right.
and Rudy had an idea what he was getting himself into, but he didn't have an idea of what he was dealing with.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody did.
no problem. I agree. I don't think anybody did. Only his team, only Hernandez and his team knew what they had. What they're capable of doing. And that also being said too, I knew boxing was going to be boxing. Unfortunately, a fight like that, especially with them trying to build a bigger fight, Nakatani nor Inoue we're going to lose a decision this morning.
No, I think they could have. Here's the thing, right? After the fight, that the people from Riyadh said we're going to investigate that 1-10, 118 score.
Yeah, but what's going to happen though?
Who knows? Because who knows? Who knows? I just know this. They said the same thing about Paul Williams versus Lara, and what happened to those judges? They got fired.
Okay, but it still didn't change the fact of the
No,
fight.
it doesn't matter. But I'm saying, like, just who knows what's gonna happen? But I just know this, like, the fight. If it was in Japan, I would say, yeah, I can see it happening. But like, really, the scores are close. There were some rounds I can honestly say, rounds 1 through 5. There are some rounds where I can see how maybe Hernandez might have won a round or two in there. But I like the work that Nakatani was doing. So I'm like Adelaide Bird. I favor the boxer. You know what I'm saying? But 118, 110 was a joke.
It was.
116, 112 was meh. 115, 113, oh yeah. 114, 114, yeah. 115, 113, 115, for Hernandez, yeah. 112, 160 Fernandez, yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, definitely can see that.
I saw a lot of people saying 115, 113 either way. They didn't feel it's that much of a robbery. The only thing they're disgusted with, obviously, is that one judge's 118, 110 scorecard. Is what you were saying. That's what most of the people are, the pundits, and boxing pundits, and people on social media were all agreeing on. So, I think the problem was with Hernandez, he started a little too late. Allowing Nakatani to get out 5-0 is kind of hard.
It's round, bro. 6th round.
Yeah.
Started towards the end of the 5th round.
Right.
And probably possibly won round 6 through 12.
Right.
And could have won a round or two from round 1 through 5. Because Nakatani, you watched the 12th or 11th round when Nakatani was sticking and moving, right? On his bike. That's how he fought the first 5 rounds. He couldn't hold his ground because when he tried to, dude just kept coming forward.
Right.
Literally. He just kept... I wish you could watch the fight because, like, I'd watch that fight again. That's how good the fight was. Great fight. Great fight.
I'll find it.
Great fight. I watched it again. That was a great fight. Hernandez won a fan in me. I would love to see him fight again. I
Yeah,
would love to see him.
I'll find it on YouTube. So that being said, we're going on to the main event.
Yeah. Let me start it off. I didn't
Go
watch the
ahead.
whole thing. I watched the first few rounds.
Uh huh.
And I like Inoue's athleticism, but honestly, he looked kind of flat. He looked flat to me. And one thing I can say is, I know a lot of people that go to Saudi Arabia to fight. Johnny Edwin when he fought what's that guy's name from the guy Impa, he looked flat. When AJ McKee fought Paul Hughes, AJ was kind of flat. I've heard guys say when they go to Saudi Arabia, it's just something about I don't know what it is. Biggie Boy when he fought in Riyadh, versus Sergey Pavlovich, he was flat. Sometimes I don't know what it is. Maybe just the time or I don't know. But anyway, it looked great. But he didn't look like the killer that I'm used to seeing.
Well, when, in your opinion, you're not the only one. I've heard a few people say this. So my question is, me watching the whole fight, what difference did you see him in the last few fights that makes you feel that he was flat?
Hands were up. His defense wasn't that as dynamic at times.
Really?
Um, like he had his hands down a lot more. You know what I'm saying? I seen Picasso land some good shots. Maybe he didn't respect Picasso, but
No.
I feel like, I've seen him put counter, slip counter. I've seen him type people's shots better, and he looked flat. But then in the interview, he said he was tired. Maybe he overtrained for the fight.
Yeah.
And listen, within Asian culture, that tends to happen where they spend a lot of time in the gym, going over drills, hard sparring, light conditioning. I've seen it myself with the wrestling programs. I've seen the volleyball teams there. When I went to Guangzhou, China, I've seen how they train. Even in MMA, they spend in Japan, they spend a lot of time in the gym. China, they spend a lot of time in the gym. Thailand, you'll see them kicking pads for days. So I don't know what it is. I just think that maybe he might have overtrained for this fight.
Yeah, that's what he said. I think he's tired because of he's like I said. This is his second time. This is the second time in his career that he's fought 4 times in 1 year. So they just gave him an award for tying. They just gave him an award for tying. It was Larry Holmes' record.
Yeah.
See that? They gave him an award for tying Larry Holmes' record for most title defenses in 1 year for the Ring magazine. He got a
Yeah.
new Ring magazine award. So I think that has a lot to do with going over there as well. But I thought he looked fantastic. To be honest with you, I mean, I thought, like we said earlier, Picasso is a young guy. You say he's going to keep coming forward. I mean, he never really quit, but I saw a lot of nervous energy with him after the third round. He was doing a lot of things with his hands, moving his hands up and down a lot. I think he was nervous about the countering. So, like
He
I said,
got counter some. His stance is wide, but I just think that Inoue just looked flat to me. I've seen Inoue look better. I've seen him look more dynamic. The first few rounds, he showed like the first 3 or 4 rounds, his athleticism looked like the pound for pound best in the world. First 4 rounds with his movement, his power, his punch selection. But then as the fight went on, like by the 6th round, I just seen that's when I left. 'Cause I had to go to the gym. But by the 6th round, it was watch, rinse, repeat. But I just saw him get hit a little more than I liked. And Picasso's not that fast.
no.
And anyways, hands were up, and he wasn't like I just. I didn't see him hit the next gear. It was like a sparring session damn near from what I saw.
That's why I said I have a problem with this. I think he's just honestly. I think he just makes these guys look good fighters look average. He's not making excuses. That's what I see from watching his whole career and watching guys like him. He gets bored in there. That's why at times he's sitting there getting hits. I think he wants to get hit, and they even mentioned that during the broadcast. Like there's times like he's asking to get hit just to kind of wake up and get into that mentality where he wants to get in a firefight. But there's times he's landing like ridiculously 6 or 7 punch combo, and Picasso couldn't answer. He was just sitting there with his hands up. He couldn't throw. He was too scared to get countered. That's what
Yeah,
happens.
but it's true. But I think I've seen Inoue look better. Straight up.
And,
Even when he fought MJ, I
yeah.
thought he looked better in that fight. Even though he boxed him, but
I,
even when he fought Lanieri, he looked better in that. Because I've seen him hit next gear, even if the person wasn't fighting back. When he fought Fulton,
well,
he
that's
hit
a
the
different
next
story.
gear. No. I'm saying, like we've seen him go the next gear and like be like, you know what, I've had enough. Hit that switch, and go to the next gear.
Yeah.
But today, this morning, I think that maybe the time change and the fact that he wasn't in Japan around his normal time zone and stuff like that. I think maybe that might have been an issue too.
Good too, but I know you did say you didn't see the whole fight, but if you watch the last 3 or 4 rounds, he was trying to go for the stoppage. He literally was landing nothing but hooks to the solar plex and to the ribs and to the kidneys. He was landing some vicious body shots, but Picasso was tough, man. Young, big. Some guys you're just not going to be able to get out, you know? Just,
Yeah, but at the same time, in a way, with his own words, said I was tired,
I get it.
and and I think that maybe he had a bad day. Even in a bad day, he looked good, but not
Yeah,
as good as he could have. And I think maybe he looked over. I think he's maybe a little overtrained.
maybe.
Just like he looked like his walkout was good. He looked sharp, but then I think maybe the wrap, the hand wrap situation too. I think some things got to him because he had an issue with the hand wraps. They say
Uh-huh.
he was stacking around the wrist or something.
It's the
So
same that Fulton was trying to do in his trainer. You're trying to make it. Everybody's trying to go on with that too. That he only gets knockouts in Japan because they allow him to double stack, but which is illegal in Japan and not and illegal in other places. You know, so I think they're trying to play
yeah,
mind
but I think when he stacks, I think it's around his wrist. I believe.
right. But
Yeah.
when he,
So that
but the way he just raps is legal in Japan.
yeah, but I'm saying the stacking part.
Right.
I think he stacks over his wrist, not over his knuckle. Over the
Gotcha.
knuckle, it's a no, but over the wrist, it's like you don't punch with your wrist, you punch with your knuckles.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So I think there might have been like a technicality, but just I don't know. I hope the Inoue Nakatani fight takes place in Tokyo, but what I heard is it's gonna be in Riyadh,
Really.
and with that, yeah, it's gonna be in Riyadh, and that's why a lot of people. I personally, for me, I would rather see it in Tokyo because then we see the
Yeah.
best of both of these fighters
Absolutely.
fighting in front of their home people, fighting on TV at Saitama Arena or Tokyo Dome, somewhere nasty that people can watch.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better than seeing the Japanese fans cheer for their own people.
Yeah. No, 100%. This fight deserves. Again, I'll be highly disappointed. So everybody else, if this fight's not in Japan, that's where it belongs.
It's not. It's not. It's gonna be in Saudi Arabia.
That's dumb. Yeah.
Sucks, right? Yeah. That's why I'm like, damn.
Yeah. The fight of this magnitude, hopefully people get in Turkey's head and he realizes, hey, yeah, this fight of this magnitude deserves to be in Japan. But one thing that I loved about this fight anyway, he reminds me so much, he gets it from Mayweather. Only them two, the only ones I can see that I watch, that I see, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that does that stabbing jab to the solar plex, to the
Of course,
stomach.
Stevenson
Huh?
boots. Of course, Stevenson boots. Well, now everybody's doing it now. Everybody, bro. After Floyd started doing it, everyone's like stab to the body.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing it.
It's
It's a very effective punch.
it is. Yeah, knocks the one out of you and backs you up too. But yeah, consistently I saw him throwing that punch, you know, in terms of like how Mayweather would always do it too. Is just that stab to the gut real quick that, you know, knocks the one out of you, like you said. But yeah, he's boxing beautifully. If that's him on the day off, I can't, you know, it's scary because he still looked like an A fighter tonight, this morning, you know?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I still think Nakatani gives him issues though.
Okay.
For the first five, like the first, if Nakatani can maintain the way he fought the first 5 rounds, you'd be like, wow. I promise you, because I was like, whoa. I was like, Nakatani looking kind of smooth, moving, sliding to his left to draw out the counter. You know what I'm saying? Pivoting, turning him. But just Hernandez kept on throwing these sneaky body shots, 4 or 5 uppercuts, 8 uppercuts. All just, bro, nothing but body shots for the first 5 rounds.
And that's what
Literally.
That's
Even
what.
when Nakatani back, Nakatani tried to give it back to him, but just Hernandez coming forward. Now, Inoue is a different type of fighter, so I think that like the Japanese styles, when Japanese fight Japanese, they're more in tune with that style. I think the Mexican style is a little different because you're not going to face many people that are willing to take the punishment to dish out punishment. You know.
Yeah, I think. But I think anyway, and he's such an intelligent fighter. He doesn't get enough credit for his ring IQ. And his dad, being in his corner, they always have good game plans. So I think they're going to see what they saw in this fight. I'm not going to say he's going to come like Terminator, and that's not who he is. And come, pressure like that. But they're going to know that he's kind of the body. He doesn't like the body shots. And anyway, we all know how anyway is to the body, especially the punches he's landing tonight. I don't see a lot of guys who are able to withstand that type of body work. Picasso's just a different kid. He's tough. He's young. He's able to handle that because he's bigger, strong, and young. So I don't know if Junto can handle those body shots that Picasso was
Well,
receiving.
I think Jinto would block them. The difference between if you watch Hernandez, because Inoue will go boom, boom, bop, bop. Hernandez was like bop, 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 and just running, walking forward, just throwing. Man, like it was, look, it was almost unrealistic what he was doing. That's why I was like, he's about to get knocked out, and I was like, anytime now, and all of a sudden I seen Junto kind of unravel, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? That's why I texted you. I was like, oh hell no. I seen it with my own two eyes. I was like, what the? And
Yeah.
I can see Junto's facial expression change.
Right.
And everybody, even everybody can see it. Even the announcers. I was watching some people boxing wave. I was listening to his commentary as well as watching mine because I'm like, I know what I'm seeing. What's he seeing? And I'm like, he's seeing the same thing. Hernandez pops. Shout out to Boxing Wave. Personally, I think he's the best person, like one of the best people to watch or listen to when it comes to the YouTube boxing space. He's pretty sharp. I like him. I like his work.
Nice. But let me ask you this, Brown Sugar. After watching the fights today, is you said you like to use the word might give him some problems, but is he going to give him enough problems to win the fight? That's the question. Giving him problems is one thing, but able to put a game plan and beat anyway is a different story. Does he have the tools after you saw today and the capability of actually beating anyway?
I think he does. I just think that Inoue's fights nothing like Hernandez. Inoue he's better defense than Hernandez. He's more dynamic, and I don't think that he would try to be all up in. I don't think Inoue would be willing to take 4 or 5 clean shots just to
No.
land 2 body shots.
Yeah, no.
You know, but I think that this fight will be a great fight, potentially fight of the year next year.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to because both these guys are offensive juggernauts. They both have pretty good defense. The styles, the height, the southpaw versus orthodox. Both men represent Japan, so they're fighting to see who's the top dog in the country. And I think that right now, if you look at combat sports, you have Inoue number 1, you have Tenshin number 2, you have Nakatani number 3, you have Takuma number 4, and Kyoji number 5.
Uh-huh.
Kyoji Haraguchi.
Yeah.
Nakatani trying to get that number 1 spot. And if he wins, he could be the top guy. But I'm excited for that fight more than any other fight right now.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. Besides Boots and Ortiz, I'm excited for Inoue and Nakatani.
Well, Shakir, it's going to be a good year. Shakir and Tio to start off the year, the end of January. That's going to be a good fight too. I'm excited to see those the styles clash. That's going to be a good fight. And hopefully, Boots and Ortiz finally gets made. But there's issues going on. He said, she said. They're both pointing fingers at each other right now, saying you didn't send the contract. You really don't want to fight. So hopefully that gets settled. We need that fight for sure. That's the biggest fight at 154, in my opinion. And then we got this is probably Japan's biggest fight since I haven't been this excited for a Japanese fight since Gomi used to fight in Pride. I was always excited for whenever Gomi or Kid Yamamoto, when those guys were fighting, I always had to tune in because they were spectacular. It was always going to be a show. I know Sexyama, he's Korean. He was fighting under Japan, so those guys I was always excited. They always brought the energy. They the excitement, and that's how I feel about anyone in this fight. And I think Inoue is still going to win. I think he's going to find a way. He's too smart. His IQ is, the best I've seen in years. He's up there with Mayweather, up there with Andre Ward, up there with Hopkins in terms of ring IQ, up there with Usyk.
Yeah.
These guys are on a different level.
My main worry is, I think the wear and tear. I just think I think Nakatani is fresher. This fight showed that he's durable. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, there were times that I didn't think he's gonna make it through this fight.
Yeah,
but he showed heart. I just worry about Inoue's training. After a while, you can have one off day, similar to Roy Jones versus Tarver.
they'll talk more, man.
They're like, yeah, and I was going for Tarver that fight. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a Tarver fan. Yeah, I like Tarver. I like the guys that I like guys that are looked down upon or overshadowed. Like Bernard Hopkins was my favorite fighter coming up, and same with Larry Holmes the underdog. People wrote him off. Larry Holmes was always an Ali's shadow, great fighter. I like that type of story, and that's what Nakatani is right now. He's a great fighter, but he's in number 3 spot, and he's trying to get the number 1 spot. And in that number 1 spot is probably one of the greatest Japanese fighters I've ever seen. Yeah. Fighters, including Sakuraba, including Kei Yamamoto, who's rest in peace, including Kyoji Horiguchi, Tenshin, Masato. We can name them all.
Saki,
but right now, Inoue is just. I think right now, honestly, for what I've seen, I think he's the best fighter in the world. I think he's better. I like Usyk, but what I've seen, even when it was flat, the first 4 rounds he looked stellar. I just think that maybe he didn't feel challenged, and maybe he was a little flat and a little overtrained, as well as the time zone change. Yeah. Because I'm telling you, going to Saudi Arabia, it's just, I like it there, but I think it's a little dry. It can be cold. It's just something there. Because even Johnny Evelyn, when he fought Impa Kasanaway, he looked flat that fight. Yeah. And Johnny is my dog. Biggie Boy, when he fought Sergey Pavlovich, looked flat. Israel Adesanya, when he fought Imavov, he looked flat. So I think that maybe, there's something to it. If you're not there, Paul Hughes versus McKee. McKee looked flat. I think that if you're going to go out there, you got to be out there a little early. Again, adjusted to the weather, the dryness in the air. Something, I don't know, but it's something about Saudi Arabia where guys go there to fight and they tend to look a little flat.
No, I agree.
I
agree with that. Time zones make a huge difference. You're right. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's scary when you see a guy capabilities and when he's actually 100% on his game, what he's capable of doing. That's why I said he's the greatest little man I've ever seen in terms of putting everything together. You had great little guys talked about, like our mythical matchups, like Finity Lopez versus Inoue. These guys are not doing what Inoue's doing in terms of his combinations, his power, his defense, his footwork. He's just a different animal. I've never seen anything like this before. In terms of under 126 pounds, he's going to be the greatest little man in boxing until someone, probably when I'm older or dead, will come around after him. I haven't.
Yeah, bro. These guys, Japan puts forth great wrestlers, great Greco-Roman wrestlers, great boxers, great baseball. They're highly underrated when it comes to the athletes they put out.
Oh yeah,
and Inoue, man, just is a supreme athlete, world class. Footwork is on point, power is on point, endurance is on point, his chin's on point, his IQ is on point. So, I've nothing bad. I think this fight he looked good, but I've seen him look better. That's my only knock on this fight. I've seen him look better, and Picasso came to fight, but I just think that he was outgunned.
Yeah, fair. Fair enough. You're not the only one that says that. Maybe I'm looking at things with my homework glasses on because I thought you looked fantastic to me, and it's okay. If people disagree, that's fine. They see everybody, like you said, everybody sees things differently, and you're the fighter. You actually know, and I agree that time zones and all that definitely makes a huge difference, especially if you're not used to fighting at certain time zones. And I agree with that, and I'm excited. for the Nakatani fight, but I'm still thinking Inoue's going to win. He'll find a way. Maybe his style doesn't match Hernandez's, but they're smart and intelligent. He'll find a way to get in and get to that body, in my opinion. His footwork,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, one thing I like that. So they never sparred before, but Nakatani did spar with Takuma. So I'm pretty sure he has had a chance to see what. Granted, that Takuma is not Naoya, but the father connection,
Right.
they're both kind of athletic, But I think that that style. I think Nakatani will be more used to that style than Inoue used to Nakatani style. That's the
And
only advantage I can say, and also the wear and tear. That's one thing that Nakatani has on his side is he's a little younger, fresher, and he has less wear and tear on the body.
And the question is to also bring up how much damage did he take tonight's fight too? How much was taken out of him from Hernandez today too? How much damage mentally and physically as well?
Man, watch that fight, man. If you watch the fight, you'll be like, man. By the ninth round, I was like, man, I don't think he's gonna make it through this fight. He's gonna get dropped.
Yeah,
I'm serious. I'm serious. He was unraveling.
yeah,
Like he was there. His facial expression changed. His body, like he wasn't moving as much, and he was just getting back to the ropes, getting pummeled to the body.
yeah,
And he's trying to give it back, but man, Hernandez is something else.
yeah. I mean, like I said, you know better than anybody. They say one fight can change your life completely in terms of bouncing back mentally and bouncing back physically. So we'll see. I want the fight to happen, so hopefully he's fine. That's the fight we need as boxers.
So let's look at MMA real quick. It's kind of like what are there any fights that you on the horizon as far as MMA or just bare no anything that you're interested in watching or that piques your imagination,
Um,
piques your mind.
I was excited about the Nemkov fight. Remember, I was texting you asking you what we thought about that fight. So I was highly impressed how Nemkov looked. So they're talking about. I would be excited about Ngannou versus Nemkov. They're talking about that. Ngannou's already saying, look out, I'm coming. So that'll be an intriguing fight. I don't know if it's going to be one of those like a fight. If Nemkov can get him on the ground, it's over. If Ngannou can keep the fight standing, Nemkov might be in big trouble. What do you think?
Well, Ngannou has some. Ngannou had like people will sleep on Ngannou because they think he's just big and strong, but he has skills. He just had to show them all. Roy Nelson trains with him and told me like he's taken him down before, and Ngannou was pretty competent on the ground. As you can see, when Cyril Gane took him down and went for the leg lock, Ngannou countered that and got on top. Even with the torn ACL, he won that fight. Um, People sleep on Ngannou because they think about his size and power, but he has some IQ there. Even when he fought, what's that guy's name? Stipe the second time.
Yeah,
He was more composed. He used his jab. He had a better sense of distance. Used some feints. Had a great sprawl. I just think that it's gonna be interesting because Nemkov has a sneaky leg kick. His leg kicks are good. He has sneaky overhand right. He can wrestle. He has good upper body control. When he came to American Top Team, he was training, and Johnny Eblen, believe it or not, was in his ass. Like Johnny Eblen's a bad motherfucker, man. He's like, I think he's one of the best fighters I've seen. And we're back working together again. So I'm hoping that I can add more to his skill set. But he's like, Johnny Eblen, like he's good. He's a good fighter. There are a bunch of guys like Yaroslav Amasov. He's a guy people are sleeping on. He's very, very good. He's very, very good. Very talented. He has a very high fight IQ. His coach Igor is the same guy that's training Anthony Joshua.
Oh yeah.
So when Igor came to American Top Team, we talked boxing all the time. And I didn't know Igor was in the same team as Barenchik, Vodzik, Lomachenko, and Usyk, the Olympic
Yeah.
team.
He was working with
He has that same boxing pedigree. Yeah,
Yeah.
and same IQ. So, those guys, and he has good rhythm. That's one thing. Those Ukrainians can dance. You
Yeah.
see Usyk always dancing.
Oh, yeah. Him and Lomachenko, I've seen videos of parties dancing together. But that was the best thing Fedor could do was send Nemkov over to you guys. I was just going to ask that. I remember that he sent him in the U.S. and I forgot it was to Florida for wrestling. That's the best thing he could have done for Nimkov's career, is let him go and let him get better grappling skills in terms of wrestling, especially wrestling with Americans and all that, or whoever else is with you there. I thought that was smart. Evelyn reminds me of, correct me if you think I'm wrong, Johnny Hendricks. Is that a good comparison?
Nah, more versatile. Maybe towards the end when it came forward, the seek and destroy style. But honestly, that's not Johnny Evelyn. Johnny Evelyn is a Rubik's Cube. He can fight going backwards. He has good counters. I send him videos of shit to watch, and I challenge him. He can wrestle. He can grapple. He's always learning, and he's always challenging himself. I think sometimes my only knock on Johnny is he likes to spar too much. You know, he likes to spar. He'll spar 10 rounds in one sparring session. And like he just like, just hey, I'll spar whoever, I'll spar. He's like almost like a James Toney type.
Yeah.
Like he don't give a damn who it is, he'll spar with you.
Yeah. He just likes to fight. You think he's gonna go to the UFC?
Yeah, man. So what else? I think the UFC's that's what everybody wants to go there. Him, JJ Wilson. There are a lot of talented fighters at our gym. There are a lot of talented fighters at our gym that that should be in the UFC. I just don't know what's going to happen because now things in the UFC are starting to change. I'm pretty sure, at the beginning of the year, they release a lot of fighters and they shrink their roster up and they build it back up towards the middle of the year, and then it gets small to big, back to small to big. So I'm not sure what the UFC's plans are, but I think eventually Johnny Edwin and Josh Silva, there are a lot of guys in PFL that could be in the UFC, could go there and have a lot of success right away. I can't hear you. No.
You're good. No, I think there's a lot of guys around that have the potential to go to the UFC, and I think that's the problem that a lot of fans have when they do with these guys that are fighting in Japan or they're fighting ONE FC or they're fighting in PFL or before Bellator went down too. Is like your career's not complete unless you fight in the UFC at least once, So I think that's the bad rap a lot of fighters get, because since UFC basically almost monopolized the sport, a lot of fans think that that's what the bad rap Fedor has always gotten in his career. He's not going to be noticed as the greatest because he never challenged himself in the UFC. So I think that's the problem about a lot of these guys, I don't know why you didn't. It's up to you if you want to discuss that, why you decided not to go to the UFC. I don't know if there's personal issues going on.
Bellator offered me a good deal, so. Yeah. But, the UFC's, Fedor honestly is probably one of the greatest fighters of all time. Arguably one of the greatest. But the thing about MMA today is it's such a young sport. Every 3 years, it's new greatest.
Right.
And people tend to, it's easy, like with the social media zone we're in, information moves and goes and things come and go so quick that you could have been on a 10-fight win streak. Once you lose, the next fighter that's on a 5-fight win streak will get more shine than your 10-fight win streak.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm actually was excited too to see about this. You talked about if I'm excited about any MMA cards coming up. Yeah, I was excited about the UFC or the Ryzen card. I think Bader was supposed to be on it, but he pulled out last minute. Now they're finally. What's that?
That's too bad.
Yeah, now they're finally bringing heavyweights, which I thought was smart. They have like the Pride setup. They have the old Pride commissioner, the one that started it all. They have the rules there. They have the whole production like it was Pride, and you get the feelings when you're watching it. But what they need is bigger, heavier guys. Like when you're in Japan and all that. I think guys above 170 and up was what brought exciting fighting. So they have a bunch of smaller guys. So I think it's smart. Now they should dip in with the ONE FC. They should dip in with PFL and start mixing it together and start bringing them together. Bring these heavyweights over too. It'll be more exciting.
Well, KSW as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ryzen, Natasha Kuzantina, the former LFA champion, the lady I train, she's looking to make that move to Ryzen at 108. And when she does, bitches beware. Because she's a monster. I've been helping her. Me and Artem Levin been helping her. Like, I've just to see her growth. It's amazing, and I'm just excited for the new young talent that me and American Top Team are trying to bring up. There's a girl named Monique Dobson. I'm hoping that she can make her way to Florida. She fought in Fury. She lost her last fight, but she's very talented, and I think that under the American Top Team tutelage, she could be a champion as well. There are a lot of hidden gems in our gym.
Yeah.
There's a guy named the Brazilian Mr. Burns, João Borges. He's
Uh-huh.
fighting January 24th at Peak in Frisco, Texas. He's somebody to look out for. I'm excited, man. Like this year, 2026 is going to be a great year for us as well because I think, I'm going to try to push to get more people on the show. I want to do more with the bare knuckle as well because, Darnell Boone, shout out to One Punch Man, my boy. We're trying to get him involved in bare knuckle. So imagine him in bare knuckle.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
That'd
Imagine him in bare knuckle.
yeah.
Yeah.
How old is Darnell now? Late 40s, early 50s?
No. He's probably, I think, younger than me. I think he's like 42, 43.
Is he? Dang.
Yeah. Even the thing about bare knuckle is it's not really about being young because we seen
No.
Alessio Sakara. Alessio Sakara just defeated the other Chris Camozzi.
Yeah.
And Alessio's 44 years old.
Right.
And he waited. I watched Alessio wait for 2 years to get a call from BKFC.
Wow.
And he got his chance. He fought in Philly. He fought twice. Fought in the Game Bread, bare knuckle, won his fight. Fought one time in Philly. Then Chris Camozzi said, yes, I'll fight you in Italy. And Alessio goes out there and beats him.
Yeah, I like that video that you produced. That was my next question, that you went live today through your little training camp. So it was nice to see. I haven't seen that before on your live streams. My question to you, is there a change? I see a change in AKA. I know this is more Eastern European fighters there now than there was before. Is that what you're seeing in Florida too now? A lot less of Brazilians, more. I saw nothing but it seemed like Russian fighters.
There are a lot of Russians, some Europeans, a lot of Brazilians. Like I said before, call us brought Brazilian, Russian, American Top Team
Okay.
because we have everybody, and a lot of Europeans, So I like we're a true melting pot in the gym, and everybody's feeding off of everybody. We have great coaches, Mike Brown, Thiago Alves, Coach Bahumpa, Coach Gattel, Coach Makahau, Coach Anderson, Coach Conan, me, Coach Bruno, Coach Artem Levin. I don't think who else am I missing? I think that's everybody. But we got some great coaches in the gym, and we have some great athletes that are willing to listen, and they're willing to take the criticism or willing to take the advice from the people that came before them to make themselves better in the sport.
What's your key? What's your key job in the gym as a coach? What's your main job?
Just to help everybody.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
in every practice pretty much giving my advice because there's some technique that they might show that
Yeah.
might not be conducive to what you're going to see or what you're going to need to use in your fight. Like for instance, if we're showing double legs and the guy you're fighting, the lady you're fighting has a great guillotine,
Mhm.
maybe I might go to you and be like, hey, your fighter does this, so let's do this instead because this person does that. So I
Right.
do that a lot of times. Like I'm in your ear trying to make sure, I watch your technique. If I think it's trash, I'll let you know. I'm there to motivate. Like when I come, I like the energy I bring because I'll have a good time in there.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. Well, I think that's having someone like you in there is amazing for their career. And having someone a champion, an ex-champion like you is going to help them, get better. So, anybody else besides who you said that you're looking out for? We
Uh,
should.
hold on. Okay, let's fast forward to because we got time now. I'm gonna chop this up. But let's talk about Clarissa Shields.
Oh boy.
Let's talk about Clarissa Shields versus Ann Wolf. Because no. Because honestly, I put that up as a mythical matchup,
Yeah.
and I think it's a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
I just think that Clarissa might have the advantage due to her amateur experience.
Okay.
But if Ann Wolf started boxing at 17, hell, if Ann Wolf started boxing at 20, I think that we'd be talking about her being the greatest boxer of all time for women.
Even
Tell me
better
if I'm
than
wrong.
even
Tell me
better
if
than
I'm wrong.
better than Riker, better than Christy Martin and all of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
So look. So my next matchup is going to be Elisa Baumgartner versus Christy Martin.
Ooh, that's a good
Very,
one.
it's a great one. But
That's a,
so because my thing is like so, she's like the like Cyborg in a sense. Cyborg was the not the prototype, but she was the prototype as the mold, like the here's
right.
what a bad bitch looks like. And then
Yeah,
we had Amanda Nunez, who was her with a little more athleticism, right?
yeah,
So Ann Wolf, if she had experience, she would have been the cyborg with more dog. And
yeah,
then we had offshoots like Carissa, who was like her, minus the power, but had the dog and the technique and the speed. And then we have Caroline Dubois, who I think is, in my opinion, like I'm a big fan of hers. I like the way she boxes. I like the Turhan lady from Turkey that knocked out Beatrice Ferreira.
uh-huh.
She can punch. I'm a big boxing fan, so I watch men and ladies box. You
Yeah,
know, even back then, I used to love watching Vonda Ward fight on
yeah,
ESPN. You know, Valley of My Food. I watched them all. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
I like the landscape of boxing for 2026. 2025 was a letdown in my opinion, but 2026, if the promoters can do what Sean Zattel brought up and just band together, that'd be lovely. I like the fact that Zuffa Boxing, I'm not sure what their plan is, but if they can keep some of these lower level fighters busy and help build them like Pro Box TV is doing, that'd be great too.
They're talking about doing another reality show type, like a contender, in terms of that's what they want to do. That's how they want to build up their TKO. That's how they want to build it up first. They want to have like their own little show where they bring these guys on, up and coming guys, or guys are kind of like already like gatekeepers, but they're not going to be getting paid well. That's the problem. And you did mention, like, you did make a good point too. Like, once if they monopolize the sport, what would you rather do? Go fight with these guys for some money, or don't fight, get attention at all for nothing? That's going to be, my opinion, the problem. Unless we discuss these guys get together, these promoters, De La Hoya, Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, Don King, everybody, Oscar De La Hoya, if I said it already, they all should get together and start working on a platform together. If that's not going to happen, these guys it's going to be crappy. They're going to start getting.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, what'd you say?
Let me ask you this. Was
Yeah,
5 versus 5 this year? Was that last year?
that was last year.
Okay, because listen, if they can do more 5 versus 5,
Yeah,
that's right there was something fresh. I wish they could do it in MMA. I
right.
wish they could do it more in boxing. 5 versus 5 was like man, I loved that.
No, I
I
agree.
that
I
shit was great.
Yeah, and I saw. Yeah, I agree with that. And going real quick to TKO. Yeah, I'm not too happy with what their plans are, what they're trying to do in terms, especially with the Ali Act. So I, hopefully these fighters don't get stuck having to deal with them. But going back to your asking the question, listen, I know you're getting on me about this. I didn't come out of a disrespectful way. So Clarissa, if you're listening to this, please come on to the show. I'm a nice guy, okay? I'm just a guy that I'm not gonna. If I see something different, I'm just gonna be honest. The point of our mythical matchup is why Kimo and I came up with this idea, especially Kimo more than anybody, is for us to have an opinion and have a breakdown of what we think would happen in these matchups. That's why they're mythical. It's something that if it did happen, what would happen? And you got upset with me because I said I've seen you susceptible to left hooks. I'm not saying
Twice though. Just twice though.
exactly, but the problem is here. I'm not saying because she got dropped from it. I'm just saying she's open to these left hooks. And then if Anna Wolf, someone like Anna Wolf, that type of power has 10 rounds to land it, that could be problems for Clister. That's all I'm saying. That power could give her problems. That's all I was trying to say. And I even said if Clarissa fights smart, which she admitted she won't, she could outbox Anna Wolf no problem because she's better. She's an Olympian, Olympic gold medalist, 2-time, right? Olympic gold medalist. She's the better boxer in terms of pure skills. I'm not denying that. But if you're going to fight Anna Wolf's fight, that's problems because Anna Wolf is a beast. Anna Wolf hits like a fucking truck. She's training and sparring with dudes too. So Clarissa ain't the only one that's done that before. I've seen her trainings. You've seen her trainings. You see what Kirkland and these guys went through. They're crazy. Anna Wolf's crazy. You saw how she knocked out Ward. Put her ass in the stretcher. So I'm saying, if you're gonna fight her fight, it's not that smart to do that, and you might get hurt. Especially when you're throwing punches and wide hooks like you do, you're open to these left hooks. That's all I said. Didn't say she's gonna knock you out. All I said, there's a possibility that you're gonna get caught by a left hook. That's it, Clarissa. That's all I said.
Okay, so let's talk about another mythical matchup.
Okay.
James Toney versus Floyd Mayweather at 154. If they were to be the same size, a prime James Toney versus a prime Mayweather. Because James Toney, just like man, I think that he's shown a little bit of everything. Floyd has too, but man, I don't know, man. That's a great fight right there.
Tony wins at that size. Like I said, that's why I thought Leonard would beat Floyd at 147. Hearns would beat Floyd at 147. These guys are much bigger than Floyd. Floyd's best weight. That's why I don't agree with everybody saying the mythical matchups or whatever. When Floyd's 147 up, that's when he's in his best weight. Give me 130, 135. No one beats him there. Nobody.
I'd like to see for him versus Shakur, because here's the reason why, right? So the thing about Swerve, the guy named Swerve Strickland is a pro wrestler. He was talking about some guy in NXT, how the guy in NXT at 21 years old is already better than Swerve it was at 30. And that's because the guy, like when you grow up emulating somebody and perfecting what they do, I'll give you a story. My boy Twan Vu, Disco Ninja, he was a 15-time world hacky sack champion. And he would put his routines on YouTube. Well, he said, Mo, I met this guy from Iceland. He did all my routines back to back to back to back to back to back to back without making the mistake, without dropping the hacky sack. I said, how you do that? He's like, well, Mo, the kid thought that I never messed up. He didn't know I would edit these videos to where, and I'd film them until I get them right. So this kid would practice thinking that I never messed up. So he perfected all his routines. So, sometimes I think that the access to knowledge, so if you're using it right and if you're studying over and over and over again, you could pick up one guy's strengths as well as the weaknesses and apply their strengths as well as strengthen their weaknesses, And I think that's what Shakur kind of did from a southpaw stance.
My argument to that is, you can try to emulate people's skills and all that, but you can't emulate dog. That's why Michael Jordan will always be greater than LeBron James. LeBron James don't got that dog in him. I don't see that dog in Shakur yet. It hasn't came out yet. Is all I'm saying. I've seen it.
Did you watch the Zepeda fight?
That don't mean nothing.
No, that means something.
One fighter.
But that's because but that's the difference. With people don't want to fight Zepeda. I mean, they want to fight Shakur because Shakur can make them look bad, and Shakur's not ducking nobody. Now, my thing is that for watching Zepeda go from throwing 80 to 100 punches around, he broke the combat record for the most punches thrown in a fight from a lightweight. When he fought Shakur, his output diminished, kind of similar to what Bernard Hopkins used to do to people, and he outlanded Zepeda. So I think when you see guys like Shakur Stevenson, who probably emulated, watched Bernard Hopkins, watched Ward, watched everybody, I think the difference between now and then is YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I think that if YouTube was back then, Floyd would probably be 18 levels higher. But I think that right now you're seeing these guys, these fighters, emulate the past in some aspects. Like, look, Devin Haney for one. People can say what they want about Devin Haney, but he's ducking nobody. Shakur Stevenson, these guys now are willing to fight. Shakur Stevenson's bumping up to fight Teofimo. Keyshawn Davis is fighting Jermaine Ortiz. We're seeing these young guys fight each other right now in their primes, and I like that. Where before, about 10 years ago, we weren't seeing that.
Yeah, maybe 10, but 80s and 90s, early 2000s, these guys fought everybody. You can't
Yeah, I know you're right. But at the same time, they fight everybody, but they didn't get the notoriety.
Right.
Until Floyd was like, you know what? I want to get the notoriety. I want to fight the fight. I want to fight these fights when they make sense and when everybody can watch. And that's what Floyd did, because Floyd saw the flaws in the past. But now the guys are like, shit, we got social media, so everybody's seeing everybody. We have TV deals. We have YouTube. So let's make these fights happen now. Let's get paid. Let's retire before we're 35, and let's be done. I think that the pendulum swings, you know?
I question you on Stevenson's history of boxing. I think he just came out on Twitter the other day and people were teasing him because he goes, "I didn't know Hagler was like this. Why don't you guys tell me that?" Or somebody. It was either like Sugar Ray Robinson or Marvin
No,
Hagler.
Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson.
You said that about
Yeah,
Robinson.
but the thing is, like, Sugar Ray Robinson, like, I you focus about dropping. So here's the thing, right? So over time, people forget. People are forgotten. Willie Pep. I go back to watch these old school videos. Sandy
Yeah.
Sadler. I watch Dick Tiger. I bring up names. So I'm watching these guys. Where the younger generation, they'll go back. They're born in the 90s or 2000s. They might go back 20 years to the 80s. They're not going back to the 60s, the 70s, the 50s, the 30s. We are, but the younger guys going back that far is kind of like they're like, what is this? It's like listening to rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard if you listen to rap now compared to rap from the 80s. You're like, what? This is rudimentary. You know what I'm saying? But it's a little different because I feel like boxing's a little different because of styles and just TV and the way the way the TVs look now. Like if you watch the film from the 80s, you're like, what the hell is this? Even when I go back, I'm like, God damn. Because when I was younger in the 80s and 90s, even in the 90s, I'm like, this shit looks live.
Yeah.
Even in the 2000s, I'm like, wow. But now you go back, you're like, man, this shit looks kind of ancient.
Yeah. It's because when HD first came out, it was amazing. Like, it looked like you're actually there watching things live in person. Now technology is so advanced, it's like nothing to us now.
Yeah, 4K, but it's just that things look different now because the younger generation see and they hear things and they're like, wow, that's old. But to us, we understand it.
Okay, I know you keep talking about Shakir and Cepeda. Great. Cepeda's a good B-level fighter. I want to see... Huh?
He's not a B-level fighter, but he's above that.
Okay.
He's tough. He's good. It's just that, who you want to see Shakur fight?
That's it. We'll see a lot when this fight with Lopez,
I don't think we'll see much. Huh? I don't think we'll see much. I honestly think that after watching Lopez at 140, I think Shakur's going to beat him 9 rounds to 3.
That's fine.
10 rounds to 2.
I want him to beat him down. I want to see him go in there and put on a performance, a showcase. That's what we want to see.
But my thing is that what type of credit will he get after we've seen Jermaine Ortiz, Steve Claggett, and Sandor Martin do the same thing?
He never beat him down. If he can beat him down, stop him. Beat him down and stop him.
Even if he does, I'm just saying, I'm not saying he's going to beat him down and stop him because Teofimo's a little bigger and probably more durable, but I'm saying that I think that Shakur's going to beat him and make it look easy.
That's fine.
I mean, if the guy from Greece and Australia can do it, what's the guy's name? Cambosis do it, then I'm pretty sure that Shakur could probably do it as well. Even
he was dying.
Okay, now.
Huh?
Okay, go ahead now. Say what you said.
I said the doctor said he was dying for that fight against Cambosis. He wasn't healthy. I'm making a joke out of it, but I said I'll be impressed. I'll be impressed if Shakir can put on an Inoue performance, put on a Mayweather performance against another high-class fighter. You show me like Usyk did. Put on a performance where you're going to wow the crowd against another A-level fighter. I will give him his flowers. That's all I'm saying. He has yet to do that.
But my thing is, to me, I think Teofimo is an A-level fighter, but I think that stylistically, I think that everyone says a thinking man's match, which it will be, but I think that Shakur's reflexes at 140 will be a lot sharper compared to Teofimo's, and we've seen Teofimo not look that great at 140. That's my thing. Jermaine Ortiz arguably beat him, so I'm saying, like, even if Shakur were to beat him, like, what credit? Now, if Shakur, I just like to see Shakur fight like Floyd Schofield, but it didn't happen. I wouldn't mind seeing fight Abdullah Mason, but Abdullah Mason's young. Richardson Hitchens, but they're friends. Keyshawn Davis, they're friends. But I'm just waiting for new blood to show and appear. But right now, Shakur, Isaac Cruz said no. I just don't know who was willing to fight Shakur to look bad.
Sandor Martin, when you lied to me saying that Sandor ducked him, which wasn't true.
Well, I ain't like that. I looked it up. I thought that's what I read, but it was somebody else. It was Ryan. What's his name? It was other dude, Frank Martin.
Frank Martin, yeah.
It's Frank Martin.
Yeah, that's Sandor Martin. I get what you're mistaken.
So I was wrong on that.
The Sandor Martin.
So.
You know, Matias at 140, Sandor Martin at 140. These are tough, good fighters. I'll bring the best out of them. I'm saying I want to see him against say what you want. This is the toughest fight in his career. Say what you want about Lopez at 140. Everybody agrees stylistically this is the toughest fight in Shakir's career. So I want to see a gaudy.
Maybe until we see it. Because the thing is, like, everybody can say something. Always, like, for instance, Nakatani. Everyone's like, Nakatani's gonna run through this guy, and it didn't happen. We had to see it. When Sabril Matias fought that one guy, who's the guy the guy that beat him, the guy Hitchinson beat up.
Perra?
Perro. Yeah, Liam Perro. Liam Perro went there to Puerto Rico and beat him. And Perro, I don't think Perro ain't Shakur Stevenson. He's tough, but Shakur beat with box circles on Perro.
Here's the thing.
Just like Richardson Hitchens did.
That's why I said, remember, you're like, you're giving shit on Nakatani about anyone. You know why? When there's question marks still and I haven't seen your best performance and you put everything together, I'm going to have question marks. That's why I need to see it. You know that better than anybody. We need to see your chin.
Yeah, I'm saying, true, but my thing is, like, he hasn't had a chance to fight the best because a lot of guys ducked him. My thing is, if you look at another thing about Shakur is, I don't think he's been outlanded in any fight. I don't think he's lost. He's barely lost any rounds. Because he's skilled.
I agree with you in terms of boxing and business-wise has been a headache a lot of times. So, yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. That's why I'm not giving Shakur his just due just yet. I'm not ready to label him as this generational's great talent until he's in there with somebody and he can perform. I just want to see him in there and put it together.
But you're going in circles.
How?
My question is, who could that person be? Because if he beats, we've already seen Lopez get beat.
Okay.
We've already seen Lopez get gift decisions. So let's say he beats Lopez. I know you're gonna be like, well, Lopez. I know how you argue, but well, Lopez didn't do this, didn't do that. He's gonna beat Lopez, and because bro, we've already seen it. We saw what Sandor Martin did. My thing is, who else? Because I'm gonna tell you this: 9 rounds of 3, 10 rounds of 2, Shakur. My thing is that there's other people out there that could give him a better fight. It's that we haven't seen that person yet. Maybe if Ryan Murataya, the winner of Ryan Murataya, Andy Cruz.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sandor Martin.
But for me, Sandor Martin, yeah, but I can say maybe he has to win a few more fights to get there.
No one wants to fight him.
He's come up short a little bit. Well, I'm pretty sure Shakur would fight him. It's just that Sandor Martin's name ain't up there yet. His name ain't up there yet.
David Haney want nothing to do with him.
And also the money's not there. You know what I'm saying? Because these guys now are chasing money. Sandor Martin, who's he backed by? Who's his promoter?
Some European promoter.
Yeah, and now these guys are trying to chase the bag, so they want the big fights.
Yeah.
So Sandor Martin, he's a hell of a fighter. And he had the chance to fight Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia, I think, kind of overlooked him. And as well as Sandor Martin had the skills to make it look bad. Because I watched Sandor Martin's fights, and I'm like, okay, Sandor's kind of quick. Sandor's got skills. And he made Mikey Garcia look average.
Yeah, that was in my backyard. I wish I was able to go see that fight. But my question to you, how high in weight can, you're talking about make the best fights, okay. How high in weight can Stevenson go?
I'm not sure because he's going under 140, and I don't know. I'm pretty sure when he goes to 140, he's probably going to be about 130 something. And he's going to go back down. I don't think that, from looking at him, I'm not sure if he can get any bigger. I don't see much growth from him like you see from Boots and like you see from Devin Haney, because those guys kept on growing. So when you see Shakur Stevenson, he looks the same.
So you're saying Ryan Garcia, David Haney, those fights are unrealistic.
They possibly happen maybe at 140, 140. I just don't know how big Shakur gets, but I've seen Ryan Garcia looks big. Devin Haney looks big. Them guys are still growing.
Well, both those guys said they won't ever go down past like 147 anymore. So,
And I believe them because those guys are kind of big. You know what I'm saying? Like, those guys are big.
so
So Shakur can fight Gary Russell.
yeah.
Antoine Russell. Yeah.
So realistically, let's look at the top 5 guys, 135, 140, that would give him a challenge potentially. He's still young. Like we said, maybe Matisse, maybe Sandra Martin. You're saying, you said, well, what's his year? Too young right now. Who does
Abdullah Mason.
Huh?
Mason.
Yeah, Mason. He's a little too young right now. Maybe
Sean Davis.
Yeah. So there's potential there.
But those guys are their friends. They're friends. They train together.
I mean, what are you going to do? He's just going to go on that career where I can't fight the best because they're my buddies?
Well, yeah, it just depends on the money. Because, bro, don't forget, the money's not, the money's there, but it's not there like it used to be. And now with Turkey, I think Turkey's going to start withdrawing his money. So now it's going to be up to these promoters to get together, to get a great TV deal, to make sure these fights can happen. So the fighters now, these fighters are willing to fight. It's just that the promoters and the money have to be there to make it work.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. So yeah, I think there's potential at 135, 140 for him. There's, like you said, he's named 5 solid opponents, but both people just need to make it work. So there's potential. Like I said, if I can see Shakur against these top guys, I'll give him his just due if he looks good against Lopez. I'm not going to be the one to say, oh, well, Lopez was already got. I'm just being honest.
I'm going to be honest with you. I know you are, but I'm just being honest with you. I think that the Lopez fight won't be his toughest fight. I think he beats Lopez because the thing about Lopez is when he starts thinking, he doesn't look that good.
Yeah.
He's not more athletic. He looked bad at 140. He throws a lot of punches, but at 140 he looked, maybe against Josh Taylor he looked spectacular, but that's about it.
Shakir's a smaller version of Sandra Martin. That's probably what the fight's going to look like. Him rushing in and getting countered with check hooks and shots to the body. He's going to be overly aggressive.
So let me ask you about this.
Yeah.
Fabio Wardley.
Yeah.
What's next for him? What do you think if you were in his corner or you were his promoter, what fight would you like to see him fight next?
I'd like to see him fight what's his name? We were talking about him, the one that tore his ACL and fought the old Mabal from Germany.
Sanchez.
Yeah, Frank Sanchez. Sorry.
Sanchez.
Yeah, I'd like to see him fight Frank Sanchez, a healthy Frank Sanchez. That'd be a great fight. Richard Torres. Someone that's durable, young enough, that's gonna push him. Not like I want a guy that's young and that's able to possibly withstand his power and see how he handles that. Not someone's that's gonna.
Joseph Parker's young. That was a bad stoppage, but Joseph Parker's 32 years old. He's not that old.
Yeah, but he's been a lot of
crazy,
work.
huh?
You said that. You said that Pacquiao, just like Pacquiao and Mayweather, we brought up that Pacquiao is younger than Floyd, but in terms of his style, he's not younger stylistically. He's been in too many wars in his career. So that's how.
But heavyweights have more leeway.
But in what way?
Heavyweights have more leeway.
Yeah, but they're taking punishment. Foreman's just a different type of animal, though. You can't compare that. He's a novice.
I'm just saying, but you can be a little older and have a longer career at heavyweight.
A little bit.
Because let's be real, I don't believe Frank Sanchez is in his 30s. I bet you, I don't believe he doesn't look 30.
Him and Ortiz, they're probably in their 50s.
Frank Sanchez is the whole 36.
Yeah, I get it, but he's still. I liked him out of Canelo's camp, So when he was with Canelo, I thought he was one of the top contenders until he tore his ACL in that fight. I want to see him in a rematch against old Carball. I'm saying his name wrong.
Before that fight,
huh?
Can we fight Caballero?
Yeah.
Before that fight, he came in with the knee brace, so I'm pretty sure he hurt his knee before the fight, and went into the fight with an injury.
Re-aggravated it.
Nah, probably. I think they was injured during the fight. I think he had it. It was hurt because I mean you don't walk into the fight with a knee sleeve when
Right.
you never wore one before.
Right.
So I think he took that fight injured, and he was handicapped. And
I agree.
Caballero with the body shots took advantage of that.
Yeah. You can't if you can't move away from that body, you're gonna get hurt. So that's why I think I want to see them rematch. I want to see a healthy Frank Sanchez. He's one of the best, in my opinion, pound for pound, skill wise in the division. Let me see that rematch, or let me see Worley versus Frank Sanchez, or Worley versus, like I said, Torres. Give me those fights.
Woodley versus Caballero. Bro,
Yep,
Caballero has an 80-inch reach.
that's wild. Yeah,
And he can punch the body. It's wild, right? 80-inch reach is crazy.
yeah. No, I agree. He's once Usyk's all said and done, him and they got to bang with the Tama. Tama. Let me see him against these guys too. They're all these young guys need to start going. Right once Usyk is done and he's out of the picture, let these young boys start banging out and see who's the top dog. So that's why I think.
And one guy,
Good.
no, that's what you think. Go ahead.
No, no,
Go
I'm done.
ahead. Well, one guy, there are two guys we haven't mentioned. Terramona from Australia, who's about 6'7". He can fight. He's a fighter. And then Jalalov from Kazakhstan.
Draw. Yeah.
So these guys are guys that Jalalov can fight. You know what I'm saying? Big southpaw. Terramona is a big Samoan, tall Samoan, skinny Samoan guy with a good chin. That's a fighter.
Yeah.
I watched his fights and I wouldn't mind seeing him. I think he's a style. He's like a tall version of Fabio Wardlow in a sense. Like he looks like he has a good chin. The Samoans have good chins. They come to fight. They come to fight.
Yes.
And this guy's a fighter.
Yeah, they do. I haven't seen a Samoan that doesn't like to fight, so or doesn't have a good chin. So I agree. Yeah, those two guys. I haven't seen enough of them yet, so I have to look more into them in terms of their potential in the division. But yeah, I think the heavyweight division is going to be good for the next several years. Once Usyk is done, and the belts can get spread out with whoever, it's going to be exciting. I think the division's exciting. So we'll see. What else?
I agree. Is there anything else? Anything else you've missed? I think we touched base on everything right now. We have
So
2026 comes around the corner. The UFC gonna have their first show. I think mid-January.
White House show.
That'll be a good fight. When is that supposed to be?
Is the White House the beginning of the year or the middle of the year? Is it March maybe?
I think the middle. I
Oh,
think the
okay.
middle of the year. But to me, I think the White House card's gonna be a. I don't care much for that card.
Yeah.
I rather see it sounds good fighting at the White House, but I'm cool with seeing Amanda Nunez versus Kayla Harrison.
Yes.
That's a fight. That's a
What do
great fight.
you think? What do you think is going to win that one?
Well, Kayla's training hard. I've been watching her train. Amanda's been training hard from what I've heard. You know, she's seen her on Instagram training. With the girl that beat Kayla Harrison.
Yeah.
But I forgot Pacheco, Larissa Pacheco.
Right.
It's a fight of the two, one great versus a future great. So anything can happen because Kayla has that dog in her and she'll come forward in the fight. But Amanda has that dog in her that can go backwards and fight, can go forwards and fight. And she has that equalizer in both of them hands. So, anything can happen, man. I'm excited for that fight. Both these ladies are coming to prove who the top bitch is.
No, I agree. I mean, I give the advantage. Amanda's going to be motivated. I'm going to give her the advantage just because of her striking. If she can keep the fight up, as long as she can, if she gets taken down, which most likely is going to happen sooner or later, she can get back up to her feet and just keep Harrison, flustered and not able to keep her down on the ground. I think she's going to wear her down and win. I mean, she's muscular, though. I think all that muscle is not great in terms of, oxygen and try and throw punches, you're gonna get tired, you know. So it's not a bodybuilding contest. You know, I think Amanda is, man.
Yeah.
Her hand is, whew.
I understand what you're saying. I've watched Kayla train, and
Yeah,
she trains through fatigue. She's she has that mindset, but I'm tired, but I'm not tired.
right.
Hold
Yeah,
on, so hold on, so let's press stop right here. We'll press stop. All right.